This is a 2001 Nissan Frontier. But this one is special. While it doesn't look like much from the outside, it's what's under the hood that matters. This Frontier is supercharged. It took me a long time to find one that was in my general area and within a reasonable price range. For those who don't know, I drive a 2004 Nissan Xterra, and it was kind of the first vehicle that I have kind of built on and added things to, modified, I guess. But there's one thing that this Xterra lacks, and that is power. Driving in Alaska and all the mountainous ranges and the Adigan Pass, if I had really thought about it, we should have put the transfer case low and just kind of drove up it slower, but we were just kind of out of it at the moment and ready to get up the hills. So I'm hoping this supercharger will make a difference. Now, it probably won't make too much of a difference, but at this point, anything helps. Over the past 6 months, I've been removing everything from the Nissan Frontier and preparing it for installation. Now that everything is ready and I have the time, I can finally install it. For those of you who are considering doing this swap, be sure to watch towards the end of this video, as I will go over the wiring in greater detail. Back on. Iris, what are you doing? Alright, so if you look here in the factory service manual, as you can see, that's what we needed. So now these little rubber grommets go into the lower intake. These little spacers go in between the fuel rail and the injectors, or the fuel rail and the lower intake, and they space it the correct spacing. You gotta seat the injectors without knocking off the little spacer things. Here. The AC compressor also has to be swapped to accept the larger belt on the supercharger. Be sure to evacuate the AC system in anticipation for the swap. Okay. Okay, so now we put the new harmonic balancer on because it's got this wide pulley section for the supercharger. Okay. When I crank it, what do you think it's gonna do? So Stevens clipping the green and white supercharger bypass solenoid wire, and we moved it to pin 6 on the ECU plug. First time cranking it. We're gonna cycle the keys several times. Okay, it's not gonna start. Okay, let's go get the plug. That sounds terrible with that exhaust leak. Let's go get the plug. It started up. That is awesome. Okay, so I forgot one piece, and it's this little plug that plugs off the EGR port on the headers that I bought. And when I installed these headers, if it focuses, you can do it. There it goes. When I bought the headers, it came with the plug because it was made for the supercharged or naturally aspirated. And it just so happens I saved the plug. So now I can put it back in. You can hear it a little bit. Thank you. It's all weighted down, and I don't know if it's got more power.
Oh yeah! At least it sounds better.
So I've got a wiring diagram up here for the 2001 Nissan Frontier, and I'm just going to show you all the wiring that I had to do. And this is to keep your check engine light off. You can run without a supercharger bypass solenoid. You can hook the vacuum hoses up in a certain way. But for me, I wanted no check engine light. So the supercharger bypass solenoid, you plug it in when you install your supercharger. This is the green white wire that you already have in your harness, and it goes to the ECU, but it is going to the wrong pin. I can't remember which pin it goes to, but it's wrong. So you unpin that wire and you pin it into pin 6, but here's the kicker. It's the wrong size pin, because pin 6 is a smaller diameter. So you have to get the correct size pin out of a parts truck, or just any pin that fit, like the correct pin. So you have to pin it into pin 6, which is a different size, white, right there at the green white. Now, to fix the transmission control module problems, PO600 code is the one that I had that told me what I needed to do, I guess. So right here you've got the white green at pin 9 on the transmission control module, and you need to so it's got to go from pin 9 white green to 33 DT4 on the engine control module. Let's see, and then you also have red yellow pin 8 on the transmission control module, and it goes to pin 34 on the engine control module. These wires are not here at the engine control module on your naturally aspirated Xterra or Frontier. So you need the pins and wires for the ECU here also. But so I just went ahead and got the whole wiring out of the wiring harness because I could. It's a parts truck. But you could just get the pins for 8 and 9 here at the transmission control module and wire them to 33 and 34 at the engine control module, and you've got to have the pins and wires for those. I'll show you another wiring diagram here. This is another one. So you can see right here you've got your engine control module right here. You've got 33, the white green, going to pin 9 on the transmission control module, and then 34, the red yellow, to pin 8 on the transmission control module. This is shown to be a protective, like coax type wiring, where you ground the outside of it to keep unwanted signals out of the wire. My wire out of the whole wiring harness did not have any kind of protective coating on it, so that is up to you to determine if you want to put coax there or not. So now we'll look at the pin out right here. Here is 8 and 9 on the transmission control module. You have to remove a retaining clip down here at the bottom and stick a needle in from the front and pull up on a little tab to pull these pins out and put them in. Not to, you can just you just undo the little retaining clip on the bottom and you can plug them in. It's pretty easy, but 8 and 9 right there. And here is pin 6 for the bypass solenoid right here. This is what you have to do. You have to pin that green one right there on the engine control module to get your bypass solenoid working. Okay, here is 33 and 34. There is no wires in your naturally aspirated harness right here. But in order to get these unpinned out of my harness, out of the part struck harness, I had and pinned in, I had to remove the bolt that is right here. And in order to get the bolt out, you have to remove you have to pull up on a metal tab up here, and you pull up on it and it allows you to slide the bolt out. You also have to undo a plastic retaining clip here at the bottom in order to pin in and unpin these wires. So you have to do the one over here for pin 6 and the one over here for 33 and 34. I hope this helps. It took me a little bit to figure all this out, but I'm going to send y'all over to Matt Jenkins' YouTube channel. He helped me out tremendously, and he's got a lot of supercharged Nissan Xterra footage coming out, videos. He's also done this swap before, and he is really good at what he does. Knows what he's talking about a whole lot better than I do. So I will put that link up in the description and probably in this top corner if I can figure that out. Be sure to check him out. Okay, so after, I don't know if I've already explained it in the video or not, but the truck is running and driving fine, but it's throwing some transmission codes and it's not communicating with the TCM. I don't know why it drives good and says throw all these codes, but it does. So after doing a good bit of research last night and talking to a buddy that's been helping me out, he's kind of a wiring geek. But he's genius, I guess. He has helped me figure out that that I need these 2 wires out of the wiring harness in this parts truck. Okay, so now that you can see it a little bit better, I got that bolt out of the way. There's 33 and 34 right there. So I've got the little white tab pulled down on the bottom, and so now that should allow me to stick white, green, right there. That's in. And red, yellow goes on the other side. And I do hope this is right, because it is a pain to get these things out of there. Okay. Now, got to do the same thing on the ECU, the TCU side. Okay, so now I've got these other 2 wires pinned in, and the correct one, or the ones that I'm wiring in, are now, these are unpinned and these are pinned in now. So I've got a little bit of excess wire to get to just wrap up and stuff up somewhere, but for right now I can push in this bottom white tab thing. Oh wait, oh, I already did. Good. And I can plug this back into the transmission control unit. And then after I get some wire tucked away and some things cleaned up, we can start it up and see if anything has changed. I am going to interrupt real quickly. I also had to swap in the Frontier's transmission control module. You should usually try to use your factory transmission control module since the supercharged transmission has an extra sensor, but for some reason I had to swap in the Frontier's transmission control module.